My effort to stay healthy has to do with prevention. Hence my work as a chiropractor. If you saw last week's video, I get adjusted because having proper nerve supply is very important. A study was done in early 80s by a bunch of medical doctors in New York where they took two groups of patients and they took their blood values and they measure their white blood cell count. The white blood cell count is your immune system, how much you have of it. And they had chiropractors give one group a fake adjustment and the other group a real adjustment to the cervical spine because the glands that produce your immune system are in your neck. And they retook the blood values after, and the people who got the real adjustments had millions more white blood cells to fight off infections, cold, viruses, bacteria, etc. For about 3 days. So that's just interesting, but not everybody sees a chiropractor, and that's cool. So I'm going to talk about some other things that are available at your local health food store. I've also seen some of these things carried at CVS and Save-On and other drugstores. First, I'm going to start with homeopathics. And homeopathics, and the sample I have here are by Highlands. Homeopathics are small trace amounts of herbs or flowers that have the opposite effect in the body. They were discovered in the 1800s by a Dr. Samuel Hahnemann, and it was an ancient Greek principle that he used. It was called less is more and like cures like. So a small amount of a substance has the opposite effect in the body that the macro or large dose would do. So that sounds like Greek to me, so I'll explain it a little better. If you eat an onion, it causes your nose to run and your eyes to tear. If you have the homeopathic for onion, which I have right here, by the way, it's called Allium cepa, which is Latin for onion. If you have the homeopathic, it stimulates the body to have the opposite effect. So it says right here on the bottle, it's for runny nose. Now, what's nice about homeopathic remedies, there's no known side effects. Homeopathic remedies are the grandfather of Western medicine. So in the early 1900s, medical doctors realized if like cures like and less is more, maybe we'll give a little bit more and we'll make it artificially instead of from herbs and we'll see where it goes. Well, now it's a whole nother profession. Although modern immunization is based upon homeopathic principle, you give somebody a small dose of polio, for example, and you prevent polio from happening. In theory, it works. Sometimes the doses are too large, but this isn't going to be a video about immunizations. That's a whole nother topic. So if you have Allium cepa, and how they make this is interesting. They would take a small, tiny piece of onion, and they put it in a test tube of water, and they spin it in a centrifuge, which has a high RPM, at 30,000 RPM, and then it's all mixed up. They take a tenth of that and add 90% water to it and shake it up again. Now this is 10% is strong, and they do that again, 10% of that, add 90% water, spin it around, and now it's 1/100th of its original dose, and you keep going down and down and down until you get 1/30,000th of the original size molecule. And here, that's why this says it's 30x. If you could read that, it says 30x. There are two common doses. 6x is for children, 30x is for adults or larger people. I think it'd be, like when a young kid could be 10 years old and 135 pounds, they would probably take the 30x. There's no side effects. If you get the right homeopathic remedy, it works like a miracle. It will have the opposite effect in the body. And here I have one for pulsatilla nigra, also 30x, which is for colds with runny nose, and this one's for runny nose. You could even take both at the same time, and some companies have combination homeopathics where multiple remedies are in one homeopathic, so they cover the whole spectrum. These are individual remedies, and how you take them, very simple. By the way, it doesn't cause anything if I take it. There's no side effect. I'm not going to get drowsy or sleepy or fall asleep behind the wheel of my car. You take them, you take 4 of them in this case. Oh, by the way, getting back to that centrifuge idea, they have this liquid now, 1/30,000th of the original strength, and they spray it. There are conveyor belts of small little lactose pills. They're sweet little pills. Okay. They taste sweet, I should say, and they're sprayed on so the homeopathic is in them. And they're all standardized. So whichever brand you get, Barikian, Tafel, Boron, Highlands, in this case, they're all the same. If it says 30X, and in this case, Pulsatilla nigra, it's all the same. You can't touch them. Your skin oils weaken the effectiveness of the homeopathic. So you just take them. I put them in the cap and then take them and put them under my tongue. And you let them dissolve. And some people respond very, very well to homeopathic remedies. My daughter did when she was a baby. Some kids respond better to herbs. It depends. And some people do better with over-the-counter remedies. But this is how I stay healthy. So I'm telling you how I do it. Next up, if I get a little overwhelmed, I'll use the homeopathic. If I come home from work and I feel a little scratchy throat, or if I feel a little, I don't feel right, I'll take a homeopathic. And 1 or 2 doses. I'll know if it's working. In an acute phase, you could take a dose every hour. It recommends 3 to 4 times a day, so that'd be every few hours. And then you taper off, like any natural method. You take it a few times, and the next day take it less, and you take it less. Now I'm going to talk about herbs. Now, herbs you have to be a little careful of, because herbs are just like drugs. They're a macro dose as opposed to the micro dose of homeopathics, herbs. And I'm going to show you some tinctures that I use to help when I fear a cold or flu in the air. And first and foremost, we hear a lot about Echinacea. Okay, right in front of the camera, Echinacea. And this is by Herb Farm. I like it. It's a tincture. You can get it in an alcohol base or alcohol-free. When you shake it up, you open up the top. And you see it's in a liquid form. And you would drop 30 to 40 drops in your cup of water. Now, if I feel, I'll take the Echinacea before I go to sleep at night. Now, what Echinacea does, it's a Native American herb, which actually increases your white blood cell count. So I'm going to give you some rudimentary and false numbers, but the concept is right. Let's say you have 500 white blood cells in your body. Under 250, you get sick. So somebody comes in your office and they're coughing. You go down to 400. That afternoon, you catch a little chill. You go down to 375. You're still not sick yet because you're above 250. Under 250, that's when you get sick. That's when the bad guys, your viruses and bacteria, are outnumbering the good guys, your white blood cells. So what happens is that you now feel a little tired, so you go home, you get a good night's sleep, and while you're sleeping, your blood goes back, your white blood cell count goes back up to 500, you're normal. But the next day, somebody coughs on you, sneezes near you, you catch a draft, and then you get a lousy night's sleep. So your white blood cell count goes below 250. Now, this is arbitrary. I'm making up the numbers. The concept is correct. Now you get sick. Now, what Echinacea does, Echinacea brings your white blood cell count back up to what your normal high is. So if it's 500, it'll help bring it back up to that. You don't want to take it all the time because then your body becomes dependent on it. You cycle it on. There's a couple of ways you could do it. You could take it when you're feeling a little bit iffy. Once we're already sick, it might have minimal value. This is to stay well. Some people like to take it, and this is a good thing, a week on, 5 days off, or 3 weeks on, a week off, to cycle it on and off so your body doesn't get used to having it in your system. Echinacea helps your body make more white blood cells. Now, this is why this is an herb, and I said there are dangers with herb. One of the contraindications to making more white blood cells is somebody who has an autoimmune disorder, like HIV, like AIDS, like lupus. You don't want to take this because if the body's attacking itself, you don't want to add more warriors in the fight against your own health. So Echinacea is contraindicated when you're having when you have an autoimmune disorder. Next, for the purpose of this video, I'm going to talk about my last one that I take. It's called Black Elderberry. Can't get that here. Black Elderberry, also by Herb Farm. There might be other brands. This is the alcohol-free version, and you take 30 to 40 drops, and it's a sweet drink. What Black Elderberry does, it's an herb. It draws toxins from your lungs down to your colon. And medical doctors have known since the beginning of time, at least in the 1900s when they started writing things down, that the symptoms of a cold or flu were lessened by a good bowel movement. This was discovered in Israel by an Israeli scientist, and they discovered that when Black Elderberry was drinking in liquid form, it would draw the toxins down, and when you did have a bowel movement the next day, a lot of the toxins were out of you and you felt a lot better. Those people who are who take this, who never take it before, might experience that their bowels are a little firmer than usual. They might think they're constipated, but I don't know scientifically. What it's probably doing is drawing the toxins into the bowel material. Then you feel better after you go. When I do take black elderberry, I take it at night before I go to sleep. This way it's working while I sleep and my body's most dormant. Okay? All right, so I spoke kind of quick because I had a lot of information. Actually, I have one more herb here, golden seal and echinacea and golden seal, and this is a ratio of 85% echinacea to 15% golden seal. Golden seal is a little diuretic, so if the echinacea helps your body produce more white blood cells, which then fights off viruses, the diuretic portion, the golden seal, helps your body when you urinate it out, when your kidneys filter the toxins. Some people get better effect if there's a little bit of golden seal in there. Some people don't. I go either way. It doesn't matter. So that's some basic overview, and each week I'm going to be giving you more information about. Next week will be tips on how not to get sick, and then I'm going to teach you how to clean certain areas of your nasal passages to keep germs and other things from settling in there and making you even worse. All right? Come back soon. Bye.